I'm in the process of making peach compote, and this is what it looks like. So I'm cutting up the peaches now in quarters. I will peel them after I'm done cutting. This will be a dozen peaches. And so, rule number one about cutting fruit and vegetables. You hold the knife completely still, and you move the fruit or the vegetable that you're cutting. So in this case, plant it a little bit against my hip here, like that, right? So I can make sure it doesn't move. It gives me a little bit of room to negotiate it, but I'm not cutting like this because there's no way to control the resistance against the knife. So what I do is hold the knife steady like this, and then puncture it, and then I actually move the fruit. So the fruit is actually cutting itself, and my hand is just guiding this path. So that's rule number one for how you go about peeling fruits and vegetables. And that way you get nice clean cuts. Very simple. Same thing goes for peeling. You peel it, you actually hold the knife still, and you move the fruit along the knife.
Good luck peeling all that.
It only takes a second. Okay, as you can see, you get a nice clean peel. If you try to move the knife across it, I'll show you how difficult that is. See, it just doesn't want to cooperate. So hold the knife still, put it up to it, and then just move the fruit along. Just like that. And it peels easily. Okay, so step 2. After you've peeled all the peaches, then you put the water in just so it reaches the top of the peaches, no more, because we're going to boil it off. Then you take a piece of ginger, equivalent the size of your index finger, peel it down, and then you're going to grate it into the compote. Once you have about a finger-sized piece of ginger, you use your small grater, just grate it down right into your compost. Okay, so when you make compote, normally you would make it with sugar. Since we're doing this so that it's keto-friendly, we'll use monk fruit instead. The monk fruit has a different sweetness profile than sugar, so in fact, normally with a dozen peaches, you would use about a cup of sugar. So in this case, since we're using monk fruit, we'll only use a 1/4 teaspoon because it is that much sweeter. Okay, now that we've got all the ingredients in there, we have the dozen peaches sliced and peeled, along with about a finger's weight of ginger that was finely grated, and a 1/4 teaspoon of monk fruit in place of sugar. And so the thing to realize is that peaches are very keto friendly. One peach is about 60 calories, about a half gram of fat, and there's only about 12 grams of free carbohydrates. It also has 1.5 grams of protein. Additionally, peaches are a great source of vitamin A and C. So anyway, at this point, you can see that the water has pretty much cooked off. So this is the point you want to get it to, where now what you're looking at is mostly juice right out of the pears. So at this point, you take a potato masher, right? And you want to reduce the heat. Actually, you turn it completely off, let it stop boiling, and then you just want to mash it with the potato masher until you get like that nice same consistency you would have with like a jam or a preserve. And once you reduce it in this fashion, then you're going to let it cool down by putting the top back on once it's cooled down to the point where it's still warm, but not cold. You want it to be at the temperature where you could comfortably put your finger in it, but you want it to be warm, like a really nice warm bath would be. And then at that point, we'll add the syrup. And maybe now's a good time. I'll show you how you go about making this syrup. Okay, so as I said, the last step in the process when it cools down is add maple syrup. Now, of course, you see this, but this isn't the actual maple syrup. I just continue to use this bottle because I like it. But I actually make my own maple syrup, and the way I do it is I start out with this maple extract, which I get on Amazon. This particular brand is organic, and it's very, very good cost. So what you want to do is you can really set this to your own taste flavor. But what I do is using this bottle, I will fill it up to about this point with the maple extract. And then the remainder of the bottle I'll fill up to about this point right here with Fiber Yum. Now, Fiber Yum is actually a sweetener. It's made from tapioca. And the beautiful thing about this product is that it is actually 1-to-1 for its carbohydrates and fiber. So basically, you have zero sugar going into your blood. Right? So in other words, what happens is that since the sweetener is bound to the fiber, instead of it breaking down in your stomach and then going into your blood, raising your glycemic level, it actually stays bound in the fiber and works its way down into your large intestine. And there, it actually feeds the good bacteria in your system, coats the wall of your large intestine, reducing the amount of leaky gut that you'll have. So anyway, when you mix them together, like I said, you want to do about this much of the maple extract, and then fill the rest up to about here with the Fiber Yum, and then you just have to shake it. Shake it really vigorously in various directions. You can actually run it under warm water. Now you don't want to put this product in hot foods, so that's why with the normal maple syrup, when you're making a compote, you would add that immediately. But in this case, you want to wait till it cools down and so on, because if you put it in hot food, it loses its binding and can actually release the sugar into your bloodstream. So now, as I said, you let it cool down, and it's now at the point where it's about the same temperature as a bathtub would be. So you do want to just test it with your finger, see if you can put your finger in it. It's still nice and warm, but it's not hot enough to burn. And so now we want to add our maple syrup. But like I said, we use the for a sweetener, instead of using sugar, we use the monk fruit, which is far sweeter. Therefore, in this case, we're going to use very little maple syrup. It's actually more to get that maple taste to it. So it's more of a breakfast complement than it is to actually make it any sweeter than it is. Okay, so like I said, this has zero glycemic index because all the sugars are bound with fiber. All the carbohydrates are bound with fiber. So that's exactly 1 teaspoon. And we pour that in. And it's just to give it that maple flavor. Okay. And then the last step is just stir that in. And you have our final product. As you can see, the consistency is nice and thick. And this started out as 12 peaches. And now it's boiled down to the point that we'll be able to fill just a little more than one preserving jar. So we have these jars. They're from Paul, as you can see, and you can get these.
Can't really see it.
Okay, let's see, too close this way. See, Paul, and they're made for preserving. These mason jars have been around for centuries, or at least 2 centuries, I want to say. And you can see the lines here. So this is enough that it can actually fill 2 of these, but we only have 1, so we're going to fill the 1, and then the rest we're going to put in a BPA-free Tupperware bowl.